Hi guys, welcome to part 4 of our image slider series. For now we implemented the slider functionality and we put auto sliding going on, and we made possible to control our slides with the keyboard keys like I'm doing right now. Okay, next part in our project is to put the dot indicator so we can move our slider with the dots. So let's get right into it. Initially, I thought I was gonna put these with JavaScript, so insert the dots with JavaScript, but I told you this was gonna be a beginner-friendly tutorial, so I will leave it beginner-friendly. So instead of that, I will put my dots inside my HTML, because if I insert them later with JavaScript, I need to have some event listeners on the dots. It will cause us some problems. Nothing serious, but we'll keep this beginner friendly. So inside my div with the class of dots, I will add 5 more because I have 5 images. I will add 5 divs with the class of dot. I'm using this Emmet abbreviation, so class dot time 5. Now I have 5 empty divs with the class of dot. Okay, let's save this, and if we have a look at our screen, nothing will change. So let's work now on our styling of these dots. Okay, I pull this over here so we can see our screen. Let's jump to our CSS and above media query, I will select the div that's holding all the dots, and let's start styling it. In fact, I'll first start style the dots itself so we can see the dots on the screen. Right now, as you can see, we don't have anything. So I want to have my dots to have the same width and height. So 0.5 rem, because I want to make them a circle, and we do that with a border radius of 50%. Okay, let's save this. I don't see anything because simply I need to put some color on my dots. So let's say a background color, I want them to be white. Okay, now if I save, here are my dots right here. Okay, now we can start styling their parent, which is a class of dots. What do I want to do first? I want to position them absolute. It should be here, somewhere here, close to the bottom of my sliders container. And if you remember, my container class has position relative, and this is the parent of the div with the class of dots. Okay, so I should just put position absolute to the dots and I will get what I want. Okay, let's save this. Okay, but now I should position them. I want them to be centered horizontally. So I will put for the left, I will put 50%. Okay, but in fact, let's first, let's first make these dots a flex container so we can put them in a row. So I'll say display of flex. Okay, now my dots are in the row. They are 50%, but I should also translate them minus 50%. Just the same we did for the arrows. If you can remember, let me show you right here. When we translate them to the y-axis minus 50%, we should translate this to the x-axis minus 50%. Okay. Okay, let's use a new translate property. You can now use translate, rotate, and scale without transform first, but you should put all the axes. So I want horizontally minus 50%, but I also must put y axis here. Okay, now they are perfectly centered. And just in case, I will put the old way if this don't work on your machine. Let's this is the old way you should do it. I will comment it out. Alrighty, let's see what else do I want. I want to put the bottom should be, let's say, 1 rem. Let's put them up just a little bit more, so 1.5. Okay, that's good. Now what else do I need? I want to separate them a little bit, so I will put a gap of 1 rem. Okay, now my dots are separated, and yeah, I want the cursor to be pointer, so it's clear you can click on the dots. So I'll put the cursor to pointer. The cursor should be on my dot class, not the dots. Let's first, I will make a selected dot a little bigger than the rest of them, so the people should know which slide are we on. So I will put a dot with the class of active, and that dot should be bigger. I will put scale to 1.5, and of course again I should put transform. In fact, in case this doesn't work, this is the old traditional way we are doing this. Okay, let's save this. Of course, I don't see any changes because I don't have a dot with the class of active. So in fact, we should put this on our first dot, because initially when we load the screen, we are on this first slide. So this one should be active, and right now you see this one is bigger. Okay, already. So now I should put the transition, and now I'm not sure if I can, because I'm not using transform, if I can put it on scale. Let's put it on all just to be sure, and I want 0.5 seconds, and again is in and out, just like we did for our slides. Alrighty, let me check out. I think that should be it for the CSS. Alrighty, now let's jump in our JavaScript and let's make this functional so we can change the slides when we click on these dots. Alright, now we are inside our index.js file. This is where we left off the last time. So we finished moving the slides with the keyboard. So right now I'm gonna work on, let's put a comment again, and let's say moving slides with the dots, moving slides with dots indicators. Oh, okay, let's first select all of the dots. I will put this inside our variables. I'll copy this down and I'll say constant dots, which will be query selector all, and I want to select all my class of dot. This is or all these divs. Okay. Okay, and now down here, I want to, what do I want? I want to have event listeners on all of my dots, and I want when some of those dots is clicked, I want to do something. So I'll say dots for each dot. I'll put event listener. So like I told you, I want a click event. And when this event happens, I want to make a function that will do something. Okay, what do I want to achieve? I want to, whichever dot is clicked, I want to, in fact, I will create a new function since we don't have this function yet. I will call this function go to slide, but I want to get an index on of whichever dot is clicked. So if the first dot is clicked, it will be index of 0, and if the third, it will be index of 2, etc. So I need to get not only here. I don't want to have only dot. Oops. I want my dot, but I also want to have the index of each dot. So in fact, let's comment this out and let's console log the index to see what I'm talking about. Just like that. Okay, let's open our DevTools. Open our console. And when I now click on this dot, you see my index is 1. If I click on this one, my index is 3. All right, so I'm getting my index now. I want to, instead of console logging this, I will uncomment this and I will pass the index as an argument to my new function that I will create in a second. Okay, so for each dot, we are putting event listener on a click. When the dot is clicked, I'm running a function go to slide. Let's make this camel case. Okay, and I'm passing index to that function. Okay, so now above the listener, I'm gonna create a function go to slide. And of course, this function has an argument of index. Now, what do I want to do with this index? If you remember, we are using this slide index to move our slides right here. So this slide index is how we move our slides. We multiply that with the slide's width, and then we translate on horizontally our slides. So I will, in my function, I will put the value of the slide index to our index we select right here. This index we were console logging just a second ago. Okay, just like that. Put, in fact, since I'm doing only this here, I can do that in one line without curly brace, so we can stay consistent already. Okay, but doing only this will not do anything. In fact, let me save this and show you. Click on this index, nothing happens because I'm assigning the value of my index to the slide index, but in order to change the slides, I need to call again my function that is in charge of changing the slides. So after I assigned my index, I will call update slider function. All right, let's save this and see if we were successful. Now, if I click on this slide, my slider should go to the last slide. Let's test it out. Alrighty, it's working. I have my last slide. Okay, let's go to the fourth slide. Here it is. Let's move back to the first. Here it is. Second and fifth. And back to the first. Yeah. I have my auto sliding function, so it happens to jump to the next slide in the second I'm clicking on that, but my logic is working. All right, now one last part of my functionality is I need to change my active class on the dots. So whichever dot is clicked, and right now I'm only changing the slides. I want them to this active class to follow along. So whichever dot is clicked, I want to be active. Okay, for that, we're not gonna do this here, but in fact, we are gonna refactor our update slider function, because we also want this to reflect on all our ways of changing the slides. I want also this to be reflected on my arrows and keyboards and all the way. So I will be changing this function that we call everywhere. Okay, so now what do I want to do? I have my dots array of all of the dots. So on that dot array, I want the dot with the index of slide index, right? Because here we're going to put this slide index to the index we selected. Okay, so I want that dot to have a class list to add class of active. Alrighty, let's save this and test out if we were successful. Okay, so now if I click here, my dot, but you can see the problem now. Every dot is getting the class of active. So when I click here, now all my dots are active. Of course, that's not good. To fix this, just before we add active class to the selected dot, I want to remove it from all of the dots. So I will loop through again through my dots, and I will say for each dot I want class list dot remove, and of course I want to remove my active class, just like this. Okay, let's save this and test it out now. Okay, now you can see my auto slider started and already this is working. My third index is now active. Now it will be my fourth and my fifth. If I manually change to first, my first is active. Okay, now my last, now my second, and this goes on. And with that, we are finished with moving slides with our dot indicators. So we added another functionality to our slider. This is almost complete, but before we finish, in my next video, I want to show you a problem we now have. Let me inspect this, and if I make this small enough, you see now that my slides are not changing properly. Okay, this is the issue we are going to address in the next video. I want to thank you for watching this one. As always, if this was useful, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And I wish you a great day. Goodbye and lots of love.